Hello, friends. In today's session on current affairs, the first question relates to the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Report. Now, this report, as I mentioned, is brought out by the World Economic Forum on an annual basis. The World Economic Forum is a non-governmental organization based in Switzerland, in a place, especially, if you are being very specific, there is a place called Colony in Switzerland. This is a suburb of Geneva, which is a more popular town. Now, Colony is Switzerland, and of course, it was started in 1971 by a person named Klaus Schwab, who also happens to be its executive chairperson till date. Okay, now this report measures gender aspects in on four basic parameters. There are what are these four parameters? Economic, number one. If you would want to write, I would suggest you write, because when we write what we write, we tend to remember better. Okay. One, economic participation. When we say economic participation, we are talking of economic participation including opportunity. So economic participation and opportunity. Number two, political environment. Number three, educational attainment. Four, health and survival. Now this last mentioned one measures, the state of the female gender on sex ratio, on access to healthcare, maternal mortality and all that stuff. So on that basis, we don't fare very well globally. We are ranked 127th. Last year we were 135. Now, on that count, yes, we've done well in the last 1 year. But have we done well in the last 1 year? Isn't it, arbitrary? You see, what went right, what didn't go right for India? There are a lot of things that we could learn. But right now in this session, I'll tell you why these kinds of reports, gender gap reports, don't really work in India, or rather aren't shouldn't be taken very seriously. See, the cultural norms are different. A woman working outside home is quite different, looked at quite differently in countries in South Asia. um, Apart from the, see, I can understand that there are a lot of sensitivities around this issue, like, a woman's rightful place is in the kitchen. That's what, you know ultra conservatives would say. Well, the liberal, the people who are open to change, they say that, well, it's okay if a woman would work, it's a personal choice. And if you would look at, you know somewhere in the middle, basically, you would find people who need both the spouses, that is the man and the woman, working, to bring in income into the family. That would be more out of necessity. So there are a lot of cultural issues, there are a lot of economic issues at play. So we shouldn't really look at, these reports and say that, yeah, the status of women in India is bad. Yes, it's bad in some places, and it's not bad in a lot of places. But if you look at the West, their way of looking at, gender, the female gender is quite different. If you look at Scandinavian countries like Sweden, Norway, Finland, Iceland, Denmark, they place a lot of emphasis on, the female gender. They give almost equal weight, equal weight. I mean, they're not even, except for Iceland, which is the world's number one ranked. No other country in the world, comes close to 99 points. You could say on a scale of 0 to 1, basically, you know, point 0 to 1. Only Iceland comes somewhere close to 0.09. Other countries rank 2 in the second and third places. They come between the 0.85 and 0.87, which is not as good as, let's say, Iceland. Okay, so these are relative things, and of course, you know, uh, there is this widespread discrimination against women in India. Uh, it's an open secret, of course, as we all know. We don't really like to talk about such things, but then it's always been there. Now, if you look at Japan, if you look at just the salary part of it, the payment, the wages part of it, a woman worker is paid typically paid 25% less than a male worker for the same work. For the same work, the salaries are 25% lower for the female gender. So different countries, different yardsticks, different ways of looking at the world. Yeah. So what are the top three countries? Why don't we write the top three? Global gender gap report, top three. And by the way, do you know it would take 131 years to close the gender gap worldwide? 131 years. So to close, to achieve gender parity, equality, it would take 131 years. I mean, in some countries, in case of some countries, it would take a few years. Some would take decades. Some would take 100 years. I mean, more than 100 years. Yeah. So, okay, let me take you to the top three countries. You could write one, Iceland, considered the world's most, you know, the country with the least gender gap. Number two, Finland. Three, Norway. The top three. Uh, India, 127. It's already mentioned. Lowest in the world is Afghanistan, 146. See, are we just 19 places better than Afghanistan? Come on, you can't really measure. You can't put Afghanistan as a yardstick. That's why we should not take this report seriously. These reports should not be taken seriously. Yeah, I guess that should be it. Lowest is Afghanistan, and as part of its Tara means Star project, which corporate partnered with Airtel to provide high-speed internet services in both urban and rural areas in India. Alphabet is this company that owns Google, and Alphabet also owns, Project X. Project X. There is, or it's sometimes called LabX. LabX. Now this comes up with a lot of projects, a lot of things that most of us would find difficult to believe. Like way back in now they're talking about taking internet services to remote corners of India, remote parts of India. Way back in 2006, Google launched project, what is it called? Loon. Do you know this? They launched Project Loon in 2006, where they wanted to, provide internet facility to remote villages through balloons, okay, through balloons. So we things we today talk about high speed data access, but look at taking the internet to different villages, remote villages, through floating balloons in the air. That was project that didn't really take off technically. Yeah, no pun there. But now see, Google has come up with this project called Tara, through which they aim to provide high-speed data access, high-speed internet services to remote villages through, by using light beams. Light beams. Yes, you heard it right. Light beams. How that would work, I'm not very sure of it, but that's it. By using light beams of light, they plan to, provide high-speed data access or internet access to remote places. So look at these choices. Airtel's chairperson is Sunil Mittal. Airtel, Sunil Mittal, chairperson. Twitter, the chairperson is Elon Musk. Microsoft, Satyanarayana Nadella. Cisco, John Chambers. Alphabet CEO is, these are all his CEO, These two are both chairperson and CEO. This is chairperson. You're talking of CEO here, Alphabet, Sundar Pichai. SpaceX, yeah, the same guy, Elon Musk. Elon Musk, chairperson and CEO. Okay, the SpaceX has more or less monopoly on American space market. They are launching rockets, they are carrying astronauts and bringing them back to Earth. They're launching commercial satellites, so they are more or less, though private company, they actually have more or less a monopoly in the space market. Space exploration, X is exploration. By the way, just to give you some more dough, this company is headquartered, these are all American companies. Hawthorne in California, Hawthorne, California State. Google, Mountain View, California. Cisco, San Jose, California. This is pronounced with an H. Jose. Microsoft is headquartered in the Washington state, located on the west coast of US. The head office is in a place called Redmond, Washington state. Twitter, San Francisco in California. San Francisco. San Fran, F-R-A-N-C-I-S-C-O, Cisco. When you say San Francisco, say it again. Just repeat after me. Of course, it's not an interactive session. But San Francisco. So when you say Cisco, that's how the name Cisco came, was adopted by the company founders of Cisco Systems. Cisco got its name from the city of San Francisco. Okay. To strengthen primary healthcare services in low and middle income countries, which Multilateral Development Bank partnered with the World Health Organization to launch the Health Impact Investment Platform. Of course, it's just been launched. So this is, where are these? We have never discussed these three these three. So I will just give you the name of the head office and the guy who runs the show here. African Development Bank, it's headquartered in a place called Abidjan, which is also the capital of Cote d'Ivoire, which is the Ivory Coast. Okay, it's a French name. Okay, now who runs the show here? There is a guy called Akin Wumi Asikani, Adesina. So these names are, and that too the first time I'm talking about Akin Wumi Adesina. He's from Nigeria. So he's a chairperson. European Investment Bank is headquartered in Brussels, I can know. What is that place? Yeah, Luxembourg. It's also a tiny country, Luxembourg, and it's run by a man called Werner Hoyer. Werner Hoyer is a German bureaucrat, economist bureaucrat. Islamic Development Bank is headquartered in Jeddah, which is, as you know, a major city in Saudi Arabia, and it's run by a man called Mohammed Al Jasser of Saudi Arabia, of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Okay, Mohammed Al Jasser. So, yes. At 13 days and 3 hours to its name, which of the following has been the longest duration cyclonic storm in the northern Indian Ocean since 1977? Biparjoy wreaked havoc, to property, mainly to property, though, it did not kill as many people as was feared initially. But luckily, while it spared human life, though about 16 people died, while a few people died, much of the loss was in property terms. Yeah, Biparjoy actually means in Bangla. It is a name given by Bangladesh. Biparjoy has been given by Bangladesh, so it's a Bangla name and it means calamity, which means disaster. Calamity means disaster. Okay. Identify the Nobel Prize winning awardee and co creator of the revolutionary lithium battery who passed away recently. This is John Goodenough. John Goodenough is considered one of the greatest chemists of all time. And Goodenough is also, a Nobel laureate, and you should know this. He won the Nobel Prize in 2019. Nobel Prize for Chemistry. At the time he received the Nobel Prize, he was one of the three co-winners. I'll give the names of the other two guys. He was 97 years old. So you could say he was the oldest, recipient of the Nobel Prize. Oldest recipient of the Nobel Prize. So he died recently, aged 100. And who are the other guys with whom he shared the prize? Stanley Whittingham and Akira Yoshino. So let me write Akira Yoshino of Japan and Stanley Whittingham. Stanley Whittingham of the US. He has dual citizenship, US UK. US UK. Yeah. Okay. So the following achieved a remarkable feat in cricket by becoming the first spinner and second overall player in history to take three consecutive 5-wicket hauls in ODIs, that is one day international cricket. That's Wanindu Hasaranga. He also happens to be the youngest debutant. Debutant means the person who is playing for the first time or doing something for the first time. Youngest debutant to take a hat trick. He was, I think, a bit under 21. Okay, he was 20 years old actually at the time he took this, hat trick. The youngest debutant to take a hat trick in ODIs, one day internationals, and of course, youngest off spinner. Youngest off spinner. Youngest off. No, he's a leg spinner. I'm so sorry. Oh, my mistake, my friends. My bad. Youngest leg spinner. Youngest leg spinner. Kyriakos Mitsotakis was recently sworn in as the Prime Minister of Greece. Look at this. This is Greece. So many islands, yeah? You could write this. I just want you to write this so that you get some idea how big this country is. 1.31 lakh square kilometers. Its population is about 1 crore. Yeah, it's a very tiny place. And what's the ancient name of Greece? Ellada. The other name, the local name of Greece is Ellada. The capital is Athens, as you can see in the map there, with this the city is the red star there. Then what? It has about 16% of its land is about islands. The number of islands vary depending on what literature you read. You will find between anywhere in 1500 to 6000 islands. Can you beat that? That's the variance. discrepancy. You see these small islands here? Hmm? Okay, yeah, this one. So there is another island here, Crete. It's the second biggest island they have. Hmm. This is the Prime Minister, Kyriakos Mitsotakis. Where? And you see this. It has a shorter land boundary. It's about, I think, 1160 60 kilometers, square kilometers. This land boundary, kilometers, not square kilometers. Whereas this, you know, total coastline is about 13,700 kilometers. Yeah. Chalo, I want to take you to other places as well. Spain's capital is Madrid, you already know this, and its prime minister is Pedro Sanchez. Italy, Rome, and the prime minister is Giorgia Meloni. Bulgaria's capital is Sofia, and the prime minister is Nikolai Denkov. That's a prime minister. Albania. This is Albania. See, at one time this was a communist country, and you know what? It was the world's first officially atheist country. The government declared that there is no God. Yes. Albania, capital is Tirana. It's a now predominantly Muslim country, but एक जमाने में, sorry, in the past, it was a communist country. The prime minister is Edi Rama. Edi Rama. Evgeny Prigozhin, who was in news recently, is head of the private Russian mercenary group Wagner. Now, why is it called Wagner? I like to know these kinds of stories. So, let me tell you, there are two guys. Okay. Now, I'll not get into the fact that he rebelled. He rebelled against the defense minister Shoigu, Sergei Shoigu. I am not going to get there. I want you to know why the name Wagner. Wagner, what is Wagner? It's a private military company. What is it? Private military company. Now, it provides, now we know that it was funded by Russia. It wages proxy war on behalf of the Russian government. Now, why would the Russians use proxy means? So that they have an opportunity to deny what they've been accused of. So it gives them some opportunity. Like the Wagner guys are there around in Syria. They are known for ruthlessness, extreme degree of violence. They are there in Mali, yeah, yes, in the presidential bodyguard in the Central African Republic. They are there in the Democratic Republic of Congo. They are there in a lot of places. They are in fact looking at the business opportunities now in Burkina Faso. Yeah, so yeah, so they fight on behalf of the Russian government in places where the Russian government doesn't want to go or doesn't want to be seen as being there. Um, they recruit mostly convicts, people who are serving jail terms. Because Prigozhin himself was a jail, he was a jailbird. He was jailed for many years for mugging, beating people, trafficking, and all that stuff. Yeah. Now, why the name Wagner? Because see, Wagner is a company that was launched by Prigozhin, a guy called Dmitry Utkin. So there's another guy. The newspapers won't tell you this. Dmitry Utkin. Utkin believed in, he was pro-Hitler. So he was a pro-Nazi and anti-Jews and other stuff basically. So he happened to love the music of composer Richard Wagner. Yes. Richard Wagner was a German pianist, composer. He was into a lot of things. His music was praised by the German Chancellor Adolf Hitler. So he also liked Wagner's music, symphonies and all that stuff. So he adopted the when he was fighting on behalf of Russia, he adopted the call sign Wagner to his identifiers. His handlers or whatever. He was Wagner, so he would say Wagner kind of thing. So that means Wagner was speaking. Wagner was Dmitry Utkin, one of the co-founders of Wagner. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a story behind the name Wagner. So Utkin loved the music of Richard Wagner, German composer, whose music was also praised and deeply loved by Adolf Hitler, German Chancellor. Okay, and Utkin himself loves, at least that's what people say, he loved Hitler. Okay, so I guess that's about it. We don't really know, my friends, as to what caused the mutiny, though on the face it seems like there were differences, serious differences between Prigozhin and the defense minister. Of course, the army general as well, but defense minister mostly. Which country recently bestowed Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi with the highest state honor known as Order of the Nile? Order of the Nile is their highest award, my friends. It's Egypt. You see, this is Egypt. Nearly, see, a majority of the country's population is in this area. It's in this area or along this coast, along the banks of the river. Okay, these are all desert. These are all Sahara desert. Very dangerous place. Now, to take you further on this, Egypt's capital, you can see it's Cairo. Cairo, and its president was the chief guest at the 2023 Republic Day function, Abdel Fattah El-Sisi. Now, in some places you might find a single T. Relax. Abdel Fattah El-Sisi, the president of Egypt. The currency is Egyptian pound, Pound, pound. Okay. See, Egypt is a pretty large country, one third of India's area. It's about 10.1 lakh square kilometer. Its population is about 10 crore. And its GDP is $378 billion. Yes, $378 billion. Most of the revenue comes from tourism. A lot of, in fact, it's one of the world's most visited countries. Okay, I guess that should be it. Syria, this is Syria here. Syria, the capital will focus only on the capital, Damascus. Libya, Tripoli. This is Libya. This is Libya. Okay, it's a very large country, almost 18 lakh square kilometers. That would make it 55 to 60% of India's area. Israel, this is Israel. The capital is Jerusalem. It's mentioned here. Egypt, we know, and twice Israel had come, I think. Never mind. Let's write Sudan here for our information. This is Sudan here, so you could write Khartoum is the capital. Khartoum. Okay, you see this name here, Mediterranean. Medi is middle, terra is land, EAN is a Greek suffix for a water body. So the land between two water bodies, the water body between two lands, Europe and Africa, is Mediterranean Sea. Some people say that the name comes from because it's in the middle of the earth. Never mind, whatever. Okay. We'll do one thing. We'll just write one more thing. Libya's prime minister, it's a country in civil war. Abdul Hamid Dibebe. Dibebe. It's I use the pronunciation basically. Let's go with the pronunciation. It's H. Syria, the president is Bashar al-Assad. Israel's prime minister is Benjamin Netanyahu. You know this. Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu. I think we discussed Egypt. Sudan. There is a transitional government here, so we will not discuss it, right? Who among the following are the recipients of the first edition of the UNESCO AI, Artificial Intelligence, Fazan International Prize for the promotion of young scientists? All of them actually. Is it? All of them. So not much to discuss here. UNESCO is United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. This award is being given once every 2 years, if I'm not wrong, and it will be given to only young scientists. Which Indian IT company won a digital transformation deal with Danske Bank valued at $454 million for a period of 5 years? Okay, Infosys is mentioned here. Infosys, the CEO is Salil Parekh. TCS, India's largest IT services company, Kriti Krithivasan. Tech Mahindra has a new CEO coming in, Mohit Joshi. Happiest Mind Technologies, chairperson is Ashok Soota. Ashok Soota. Then Mindtree. LTI Mindtree is, I think, Debashish Chatterjee. Debashish Chatterjee. I guess so. Debashish Chatterjee. India and United Nations World Tourism Organization signed an agreement to enhance cooperation and identify areas of mutual interest. The WTO is in Madrid. World Tourism Organization is headquartered in Madrid, Spain. You could write the name of the Secretary General. His name is Zurab Pololikashvili. What are the most visited countries in the world? By the way, where is he from? He is from Georgia. Most visited, top 3. France. You know how many tourists did France receive? 7.5 crore. So France last year received 7.5 crore people, my friends, foreign tourists. 2, Spain. Yes, Spain. 7.1 crore. United States, 5.1 crore. What about India? India, ladies and gentlemen, received 1.7 crore tourists. Yes, we are not doing great, my friends. Tourism has an immense potential to provide employment, and it can be used to leverage our soft power. Okay. With which company did the Union Agriculture Ministry sign an MOU to develop various geospatial solutions, mainly for monitoring the health of crops and sciences? Pixel India. Of course, let's look at some of these companies, not all. Maybe the first three we could do. Pixel Space India. You could write founders. Kshitij Khandelwal. Kshitij Khandelwal. Kshitij Khandelwal. And then here's one more guy here. Awais. Yeah. Awais Ahmed. So two guys started Pixel Space. Where? Let's go past this. Skyroot Aerospace. Pawan Kumar Chandana. Pawan Kumar Chandana and Naga Bharat Dhaka. Naga Bharat Dhaka. Agnikul. It also has two founders. Moin SPM, that's what the website says. And the second guy is Srinath. What is his name? South India. Srinath Ramachandran. Srinath Ramachandran. Srinath Ramachandran. Yes. Kharche Puja, also called the Festival of 14 Gods, is celebrated in Tripura. It's a festival of the Tripuri people. The Tripuri, Tripuri, are the indigenous people of Tripura. Tripura is a most beautiful place, my friends. Calm, very calm. Of course, it's a tiny state. I think the third smallest state in India. So this is Agartala on the border with Bangladesh. On the border with Bangladesh. It's actually, if we are sitting in Agartala, right there. Let's say we could be sitting on the border as well. That's the border, just about, where it's actually bang on the border. And there is, there is this place called Udaipur there, which is home to a temple called Mata Badi. Mata Badi. It's a beautiful temple. It's a Shakti Peeth. Yeah. Every year I go to Tripura. In fact, I was there in November last year, January this year. It's a place you should visit. Capital Agartala, and the chief minister is is an actual doctor. Manik Saha. Dr. Manik Saha. Manipur, this is Manipur. So, Tripura, Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, this is Meghalaya. Manipur's capital is Imphal. It's serious violence, happening there. Biren Singh is the chief minister. Biren Singh. Then Meghalaya. This is Meghalaya. Meghalaya's capital is Shillong, the most beautiful Shillong, and Conrad Sangma. Then we have, what is it? Mizoram. Mizoram here. Mizoram's capital is Aizawl, and chief minister is Zoram Thanga. Zoram Thanga. Arunachal Pradesh. This is Itanagar. Capital Itanagar, and the chief minister is Pema Khandu. Pema Khandu. Okay, there we go. In which of the following fields areas did the government of India sign an MOU with Egypt? All three of them. So we'll not get into this. Yeah, Egypt we discussed a while ago. Identify the correct statements regarding the annual survey by the World Resources Institute. All of these are right, so I'll just touch and go. About a crore acres of primary rainforest around the world was lost last year due to basically illegal felling of trees and clearing the forest for agricultural operations, grazing lands, and all. Last year's destruction of trees resulted in 2.7 gigatons of carbon dioxide emissions, CO2 emissions. Okay, Brazil accounted for more than 40% of tree loss globally because that's because Brazil's permitting, the Brazilian government is permitting, has permitted under Jair Bolsonaro, the previous president, it had permitted mining companies, plantation companies, you know, you could say other business companies. It had allowed all these kinds of companies to go clear the forest and commence with their activities. So Brazil losing that much forest, 40% of global stuff, is a very, very disheartening thing. Not a good thing for that country there, the indigenous people living there, and of course the world at large. That would include you and me. So agriculture, cattle grazing, and highway construction cause the most large-scale clearing of forests. It's always there. Yeah. So if you look at highway construction and everything, you will see this movie. I am not very sure what's the name of the movie. Yeah, Bhedia. Bhedia, I think. There is this entire thing story about how developmental activities are killing our forests. So there are all these different sides to debate. More than 100 cows died in Meghalaya due to the highly infectious lumpy skin disease. What are the statements regarding this? It's an infectious disease. It's actually moves because it's infectious. You could say that it moves, between the victim and it's targeted, or other people basically. It's carried by some certain kinds of flies and mosquitoes. Okay, and when animals have this disease, cows and all that, they produce pretty little of milk actually. Mm. Oh, I think I just yeah, all of them is right. Name the US city that recently declared Diwali a school holiday. That's because, see, apart from the fact that yeah, America celebrates diversity, it has its own problems, of course. But New York and New Jersey area has a substantial Indian population, or Indian people of Indian origin, basically, and they get to vote. And when voting comes, and you do what the electorate expects you to do, then you have a better chance of winning, basically. Yeah. So New York, what do you know? What's the nickname of New York? Big Apple. Big Apple. This is New York. You can see it here. Where is it, man? New York City. Hmm. There is this Boston here. Boston is in the state of Massachusetts. Boston Tea Party, you would have heard of. Los Angeles is here in Southern California. It's also called La La Land. What is it called? La La Land. Yeah. Houston. Houston's in Texas. This is Houston here. And Houston is called the energy capital of the world because of the presence of a large number of oil companies. Energy capital of the world. Geographical identification tags have been awarded to 7 different products, namely Amroha Dholak drum, Mahoba Gaura Patthar Slip what is it? Lipi. Okay, Mainpuri Tarkashi, Sambal Horn Craft, Bagpat Home Furnishings, Barabanki Handloom Product, Kalpi Handmade Paper, all of these belong to Uttar Pradesh. The states with the highest number of GI tags for local handicrafts, you could write this. States with highest GI tagged handicrafts. One, Tamil Nadu, 55. Yes, yes, Tamil Nadu has 55. 2. Uttar Pradesh, 48. 3. Karnataka, 46. 46. Karnataka, 46. So only the natives of these people could engage in this, making this artifacts and everything. Which educational institution was ranked number one in India and 149th in the world in the QS World University rankings? Mumbai, IIT Mumbai. So what are the top three in the world? Top three. You want to write top three in the world? One. Massachusetts Institute of Technology. MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's in Boston. We saw Boston a while ago. Then number 2, University of Cambridge, UK. Next, University of Oxford. So there's one American in the top two, in the top three, and 2 and 3 are European basically. One more thing you could learn is the fourth was Harvard, fifth was Stanford. What about Asia? Top in Asia. Top in Asia. Overall rank 8th. National University of Singapore. National University of Singapore. Then 49, best in India. IIT Bombay. IIT Bombay, best in Asia is NUS, National University of Singapore. Best in India is Indian Institute of Technology, Bangalore, Bombay. The 7.5 carat, 7.5 carat eco-friendly lab-grown diamond, which Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently gifted to the US First Lady, Jill Biden during his state visit, was manufactured in Surat. Lab-grown diamonds are the same as more or less, though they have the same brightness and they are flawless, considered to be flawless because there are no natural ingredients except for the small specks of diamonds, original diamonds, which are which have the shape and bring that to the lab-grown diamond actually. Now I was reading what's the difference between lab-grown diamond and the normal diamond, and a lot more about lab-grown diamonds. It made for fascinating reading. So there is an issue of color in naturally occurring diamonds and everything. Certain colors may not be available, or maybe available, but in a rare occasion. Whereas lab-grown diamonds could be tailor-made through colors, in terms of colors also. So, just to bring in one institute in each of these places: National Institute of Virology, Chennai, Central Leather Research Institute, Central Leather Research Institute, next Lucknow, Central Drugs Research Organization, Central Drugs Research Organization, Bhopal, Indian Institute of Forest Management, Indian Institute of Forest Management. The Startup 20 Summit held under India's G20 presidency took place in Gurugram. I'll just tell you a bit about G20. You could write this. Started 1999 to discuss global financial and economic issues. Next, 20 members. Group of 20. So Who is there in this 20? I'll write 1 European Union, that's 1. 2 G7, so that's 1 plus 7, 8 have come. 3 in in the Americas, this excludes Canada and US, which are members of the G7 Americas. So you could write Mexico, comma, Brazil, and Argentina. Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina. Number 4, okay. Africa, Republic of South Africa. Oceania, Australia. So how many have come? Let's check. 1, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's look at more. Now our what is it? Asia. 6 is Asia. We'll include Russia also. Russia plus China plus South Korea plus Indonesia. Plus India plus the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia plus Turkey. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All 20 have come. Okay, that's because I went in a certain order. Mentally I made that order, so okay. Which nation celebrated its 65th Parliament Day on 1st July 2023? Nepal. See, Nepal in 2008 abolished monarchy. So between 1768 and 2008, Nepal had monarchy. It was ruled by the Shah dynasty. Ruled by the Shah dynasty. So the 2008 federal constitution brought an end to the 240-year-old monarchy of Nepal. And it was the only Hindu Rashtra in the world at that time. Today it's a secular country with Hinduism more or less being the dominant, state religion. Though not. Nepal, the Prime Minister is Pushpa Kamal Dahal. Also called Prachanda. Prachanda. I think we'll just look at the capitals. We have been discussing too many things about these countries. Islamabad, Pakistan, Bhutan, Thimphu, Sri Lanka, okay, Colombo, and a place called Sri Jayawardhane Pure Kotte. Yeah, my eyes are straining. I usually wear glasses, but if I wear glasses now, it would be, it would reflect with my lenses. So, Indonesia, Jakarta. For now, it is Jakarta. Okay. Which European country recently witnessed large-scale protest and riots of the killing of a 17-year-old teenager Nahel M by a police officer during a traffic stop? France. There have been major issues regarding violence against unarmed civilians in many countries in the world, especially in the West. But the trigger-happy policeman killed this innocent boy who was driving. He jumped a signal and he was driving a car, the only child of a mother. Yeah, I think his father's not around, so unfortunately he was killed. And then people protested in large measure, and there have been serious riots in France. Hmm? Bulgaria is Sofia. We discussed this a while ago. Spain is Madrid. Madrid is also the home of the World Tourism Organization. Belgium is the capital of Belgium's capital is Brussels. Also the home of what is that place? European Union organization, European Union. Poland's capital is Warsaw. Which nation topped the IMD's Global Competitiveness Index? Denmark. IMD is a Switzerland-based institute that comes out with this Global Competitiveness Index to check which country is most competitive in the economy, where the policy making in terms of industrial platform, in terms of innovation, in terms of technology, in terms of technological development and all. So Denmark is the world's most competitive market. Let's look at the top three. Okay. And number one is Denmark. Number two is Ireland, Republic of Ireland. Three was Switzerland. Three is Switzerland. Fourth, Singapore. Fifth, Netherlands. Yeah. Right here also. India rank 40. China rank 21. And the United States ranked 9th. Yes. These are the ranks, my friends. Oh, that's about it, my friends. Thank you for being here. Have a lot of fun. Enjoy yourself. Stay curious.